Human beings have an innate fear of being forgotten. This fear drives much of what we do, our ambitions, our relationships, our creative pursuits. We want to leave a mark, to be remembered, to prove that our existence mattered. But why? Is it simply a survival instinct, or does it point to something deeper? Throughout history, philosophers and psychologists have examined this fear, linking it to our understanding of mortality and meaning. If one day we are completely erased from memory, did we ever truly exist in a meaningful way? Some argue that the desire to be remembered is an illusion, a trick played by our consciousness to give us purpose. Others suggest that this need is what makes life meaningful, pushing us to create, love, and contribute. But is legacy truly within our control, or are we merely chasing something unattainable? The ancient Greeks had a concept called kleos, the idea that true immortality comes from being remembered. Heroes fought and poets wrote, believing that as long as their names lived on, they would never truly die. But history is selective. Billions of people have lived and died without leaving a trace. Even the most famous figures will eventually fade from collective memory. This realization creates an existential paradox. We crave significance, yet the universe is indifferent to our existence. Psychological studies show that people who feel a strong fear of death often seek symbolic immortality. They invest in achievements, family, culture, or even digital footprints, hoping that something of them will endure. But does legacy truly satisfy this fear? If no one remembers us in 1,000 years, does it mean our lives had no value? Or is meaning something we create in the present, regardless of the future? Religions and philosophies offer different answers. Some suggest that an afterlife or reincarnation ensures that we are never truly forgotten. Others, like existentialists, argue that meaning is not something to be found but something we must create. Jean-Paul Sartre believed that the awareness of death forces us to take responsibility for our actions. If we know life is temporary, then every choice we make matters even more. Meanwhile, psychologists like Viktor Frankl suggest that purpose does not come from legacy, but from living meaningfully in each moment. If we shift our focus from being remembered to simply experiencing life fully, do we still fear being forgotten? The problem is, our minds resist this. The ego wants validation, proof that we mattered. This is why people seek fame, write books, build monuments. But does external recognition really define who we are? Or is the true measure of a life found in how we live, rather than how we are remembered? Social media has amplified our obsession with legacy. We document our lives, hoping to be seen, liked, remembered. Yet, paradoxically, the more we chase significance, the more fragile it feels. A viral post today is forgotten tomorrow. A trending figure today is irrelevant in a year. If legacy is built on external recognition, then it is always at risk of being erased. This creates anxiety. What if we never achieve anything big enough? But what if the need to be remembered is itself a false goal? The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, reminded themselves that even the greatest emperors would one day be forgotten. Instead of chasing immortality, they focused on living virtuously in the present. If we accept that forgetting is inevitable, do we gain freedom? Does letting go of legacy allow us to live more authentically, without the pressure of making an impact? Ultimately, the fear of being forgotten reveals our deep need for meaning. But perhaps meaning is not something history grants us, it is something we give to ourselves. If we define success by the impact we have in the present rather than by how long we are remembered, we free ourselves from an impossible pursuit. Maybe the goal is not to be remembered forever but to live in a way that feels meaningful now. If one day we fade into obscurity, does it really matter, as long as we lived fully while we were here? Maybe true freedom comes when we stop asking, "Will I be remembered?" and start asking, "Am I truly living?" Like, comment, and subscribe for more mind-bending mysteries. Stay curious, and never stop questioning.